Perfect start over in the Championship with Ipswich and Leicester making it 3 for bloody 3 so far. But of course, will they stretch that to make it 4 games unbeaten? We're going to take a look at that and much more next. Prediction video today before match number 4 in this year's Championship, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new, where you been, smash the old subscribe button, bang, with all things Rovers related, Championship related, world football related. We got it all here, boys, under one roof. That's right, Ipswich and Leicester are perfect so far, 3 wins out of 3, and they look to hope to make that 4 wins out of 4, but of course a couple of teams are standing in the way, and we'll see if they can come out on top in just a second. Of course, big shout out to my VRPs. They are the patrons, of course, you know who you are, but let's of course break it down and have a look at how we all got on last time around, and of course how we are looking forward to the next round of matches. So let's jump in the deep end and have a look at what we're talking about, lads. We're talking about the results from match number 3, my picks, your picks, all that kind of good stuff. So here we go. My picks on the left, the real deal's on the right. I don't think I did very well this weekend, but this past weekend, but we'll talk about it anyway. Leeds could only muster a 1-1 draw against West Bromwich Albion, 2-1 in my eyes. Of course, Plymouth, unfortunately, couldn't hold on in the end. 2-1 loss to Southampton. The Mackhams, 2-1 win over Rotherham. I went with a 2-0 win myself, not too shabby there. Rovers shit the bed, of course, against Hull City. I went down to 10 men for a good part of the game, but unfortunately couldn't hold on despite taking the lead. Birmingham City, 2-0 winners on the road against Bristol City, another team down to 10 men they were. Borough could only muster a draw in the Neil Warnock derby there. I went with the 1-0 win myself. Leicester 2-1 winners over Cardiff, 3-0 win in my eyes. Ipswich Town continue to do their things, 1-0 on the road to a QPR right there. The Nobbers, Preston North End, 1-0 away day win against Sheffield Wednesday, not too shabby there. Stoke beating Watford, of course. I went with a 2-1 win the other way. And of course, Coventry City getting a cheeky point at Wales against Swansea City, with Norwich coming out top, 3-1 win over Millwall. That's right. That's my picks. Pretty terrible indeed. The table looks a little bit like this. As you can see right here, right now, we've got Ipswich and Leicester flying high. The Canaries up there, Brummies, the Saints, and the Nobbers making it up the playoffs. Going down Wednesday, Middlesbrough and Rotherham right here, right now. But of course, all could change, very, very much so in match number 4. We'll have a look at that in 100% glory in a second. But let's, of course, take a little look at this. It is the Super Brew. And of course, we're going to hop over there right about now. We're going to fly it over here. And as you can see, not great for me at all, but it's great for the Kingslayer, winning this past round, 21.5 points alongside 77. We'll see over here the actual leaderboard, but of course, if you see your name, smash your thumbs up, guys and girls. Appreciate everybody giving up a little bit of their loving and time to put the predictions in the chat here. Jacob Ward flying with 12. Great for him. Not good for me. I had an absolute stonker way down here. There's Philly Rovers. He had a stonker as well. Carl Muckian, of course. Roberto the Hornet. I'm down here. Where the heck? I don't even know where I am. I'm woeful 4. But of course, it happens. It does happen. Of course, that was for that week and that week alone. The overall leaderboard looks like this. I am ranked 53rd out of 79 years. The Kingslayer flexing already, 39.5 points, with Weller up 23 spots to number 2. Vinny Hong up there, 7 spots to number 3. Guys are flexing it. 77 up 45 spots to number 8. Sexy Hogue up 22 spots to number 9. A lot of big movers and shakers, but of course it is early days, so get involved. It is 100% free, and that is the link right there, of course. So get involved, of course, as we look forward to these games. Match day number 4, and they're coming at you right here, right now. We're going to start right here. The games are scattered over the weekend from Friday all the way through to Sunday. We're going to start, though, not with Friday, because that's going to be too easy. It's Birmingham up against Plymouth Argyle. That's coming on Saturday. I believe it's a 3 o'clock kickoff for you guys in the UK. Played each other 6 times in 2006. We've got 4 wins to the Brommies, 1 for Plymouth. And we've got 1 draw, of course. Birmingham, 3-0 win was their biggest over Plymouth, scoring 9 goals in those 6 games, 1.50 goals game ratio. Up against Plymouth, 1-0 win was their only win, scoring just 4 goals in those 6 games, 0.67 goals a game ratio. Of course, they come to us on 58% form, Plymouth, right now. Just 1 defeated past 4. because the Brummies have won 3 on the bounce in all competitions at all venues. So they look to continue that amazing start to the campaign. Last time around at St Andrews was in the FA Cup. It was a 1-0 win, extra time win for Plymouth, would I add. But last time I played each other in the league was way back in 2009. It was a 1-1 draw over in St Andrews. Plymouth, though, 2-1 loss to Southampton, still bringing in the rears. Plymouth with that 2-0 loss to 2-0 win, over Bristol City. But the odds for this, we have 11-10 on as your Brummies, 12-5 is the draw. 60-5 is your away win. I've actually gone with a 2-0 win for the Brummies here. They look good right now. I think their morale is through the roof. Everything seems to be going rosy. Been very, very busy and active on the transfer market. Things seems to be working a treat right now for Birmingham City. So 2-0 win for them. Next up, we do have Cardiff City up against Sheffield Wednesday. You would call this, or deem this, a bit of a relegation 6-pointer already this season. Both sides struggling into the lower 20s. Cardiff against Sheffield Wednesday played 24 times since 2005. We've got 9 wins for Cardiff, 8 wins for Wednesday, and we've got 7 draws, of course. Biggest win for Cardiff in that time, 2-0 wins, scoring 25 goals in those 24 games, 1.04 goals game ratio. Up against Wednesday, 5-0 win, the biggest of Cardiff, 29 goals scored in the 24 games, 1.21 goals game ratio. Just 1 win in 6 for Wednesday right now, 1 win in 6 for Cardiff right now, 17% form for Wednesday, 33% form for Cardiff. Of course, last time played each other over in Wales, it was a 2-0 win for Wednesday back in September 2020. Of course, Wednesday, 2-game winning run against Cardiff. That was, of course, last time they were in the Championship. Wednesday, though, losing to Preston, most recently Cardiff losing to Leicester, of course. The odds right here right now, we've got Cardiff 11-10 for the victory, 11-5 the draw, 11-4 is your away win here. We are backing Cardiff to bounce back here, get a win on the blocks, and of course put Wednesday in a bit of trouble. Next up, we have Coventry City against Sunderland. That's right, it is the Tony Mowbray Derby 2.0. Played each other 18 times, these two sides, since 1996. We've got 7 wins for Coventry, 4 for Sunderland, and we've got 7 draws, of course. Coventry, biggest win over Sunderland was a 2-0 win, scoring 23 goals in those 18 games, 1.28 goals game ratio. Up against Tony Mowbray's Sunderland, 2-0 win was their biggest, 20 goals scored in those 18 games, 1.11 goals game ratio. The Mackems just 1 win and 6 for them right now, 25% form for Tony. I think he needs another win. As for Coventry, a couple of games unbeaten, 58% form for them as well. 10th place Coventry, 15th place Sunderland. Last time they played each other was a 2-1 win for Coventry. That's back in February 2023. Sunderland picking up a 2-1 win over Rotherham, most recently Coventry with an away point against Swansea. The odds here, 21-20 is your host, 12-5 is a draw, 13-5 is your away win. We are backing Coventry with a home win. Of course, they've made heavy investment. Sunderland look a little bit lost right now and could be having a long old season. And again, I can kind of elaborate on that. You know, they could pull the trigger on Paul Mowbray and then get a replacement in, but the window will be shut. So it's going to be quite interesting. I think it's kind of a borderline must win, I think, for Mowbray right now to kind of get them back on side. But anyway, we're moving forward to Millwall against Stoke. It's the Gary Rowett derby. That's right, coming at you at the Den. Now, these two sides, of course, one managed by Gary Rowett, one formerly managed by Gary Rowett, played 25 times since 1983. We've got 9 wins for Millwall, 10 wins for Stoke. We've got 6 draws, of course. Millwall's biggest win, 2-0 win, scoring 25 goals in those 25 games. That's a goal a game average. As for Stoke, their biggest win, 2-0 win, scoring 24 goals in the 25 games, 0.96 goals game ratio. Stoke, though, winning 4 of the last 6 games. They look pretty good right now. 67% form for them. Of course, Millwall just 1 win in 6, 25% form for them as well. Last time around, though, over at the Den, it was a 2-0 win. In fact, Millwall have just lost once of the last 6 against Stoke, and that was when Stoke picked up a 2-0 win over at the Britannia, aka the Bet365 Stadium, way back in March 2022. Stoke with a 1-0 win over Watford. Of course, Millwall with that 3-1 loss to Norwich, still bringing in the rears as well. 13-10 is your Millwall, 11-5 is your Stoke, 9-4 is the draw. We need to see Millwall move now. Of course, their home form is where they'll get a majority of their points, but right now it's looking a little bit of a struggled start. 1-0 win, though, for Millwall for me on this one. Southampton against QPR down at St Mary's. Of course, QPR, managed by Gareth Ainsworth, who last season seemed to get the best performances or best results against the bigger boys. Now, this will be a chance for him to because it's been a stuttered start, not a great start for QPR, but a win already this season has given Gareth Ainsworth a little bit of hope. But if he was to pull something off here, I think it would get a lot of the fans back on the side. 18 times these two sides have played. 7 wins for Southampton, 8 for QPR. We've got 3 draws, of course. Biggest win for Southampton, 3-0 win, scoring 24 goals in those 18 games. 1.33 goals game ratio. Up against, of course, Southampton, taking on QPR. 4-1 win, the biggest for QPR. 24 goals scored in those 18 games. 1.33 goals game ratio. QPR, though, just 2 wins of the last 6 games, 33% form. Up against Southampton. Southampton take this into perspective. 2 wins out of the last 6 games as well. Last time around at St Mary's, a 2-1 win for the Saints back in September 2014. That was in the Premier League. Meanwhile, QPR back-to-back games now without a goal, losing to the East Anglians, Norwich and Ipswich respectively. Up against Southampton, 2-1 win over Plymouth most recently as well. The odds here, we got 11-4 on is your Southampton red hot favourites. 15-4 is the draw. 8-1 is your long shots. It is, of course, QPR. I'm going to go with the Saints, unfortunately, but I'd really love to see QPR pull off an upset. Next up, we have, of course, the game of the weekend. We'll have a watch-long. We probably won't have a vlog, but we'll have fan cams and all that kind of good stuff. So make sure you stick around for that. Pre-game, post-game, whatever you have. It is Watford, it is Rovers. It's on Sunday. Everyone should be watching this bad boy. It's on the Sky as well. At Vicarage Road, played each other 14 times since the year 2000. We've got 6 wins for Watford, 5 wins for Rovers, and we've got 3 draws, of course. Watford, though, biggest win for them over us. 4-0 win, scoring 24 goals in those 14 games. 1.71 goals game ratio. Up against Rovers, of course. 2-0 win was our biggest over them. 2-1 win. 21 goals scored, 1.50 goals game ratio. Rovers, though, coming to this on 58% form, winning 3 of the last 6. Watford, though, just 1 win in 6, 33% form for them. And already, despite my affiliation and my support for Valérien Ismaël, he might be under a bit of pressure already, of course. You would imagine them to be in the mix already. They currently find themselves in 9th and Rovers in 12th. But at the minute, not really blowing people away right now. But last time around, at Vicarage Road, it was a 1-1 draw. That was back in February 2023. Rovers, of course, losing to Hull. Most recently, Watford losing to Stoke, of course. Back-to-back games now without a goal since that opening day flurry against QPR. The odds here, 21-20 is your Watford, 5-2 is your away win. That's Rovers, and 5-2 is the draw here. I'm going with the draw. Trying to get a bit of positivity, a bit of optimism for Rovers, even though this is a monster game this season. Next up, we have Huddersfield Town against Norwich. That's right. Over at the John Smith's Kirklees McAlpine Stadium, whatever you want to call it. Now, these two sides, according to my eyes, it's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. Have played each other around about 22 times since 1995. We've got 6 wins for Huddersfield. We've got 12 wins for Norwich, and we've got 5 draws, of course. Huddersfield used to be managed by Wagner. It's the David Wagner derby. That's right. Biggest win for them over Norwich was a 3-0 win, scoring 23 goals in 23 games, 1 goal a game average. Wagner's current boys, of course, 7-0 win was the biggest over Huddersfield. 48 goals scored in those 23 games, 2.09 goals game ratio. Norwich look pretty hot right now, 92% form for them. Huddersfield, 42% form for them without a win in 4. Last time around, over at Huddersfield, it was a 1-1 draw. That 7-0 win was not too long ago, guys. It was way back in April 2021. That was over at Carrow Road. But Huddersfield haven't beaten Norwich in the last 5, losing 4 and drawing 1. One, of course, was a friendly. Norwich with that 3-1 win over Millwall, most recently Huddersfield with an away day point against Middlesbrough, of course. The odds right here, right now, we've got Huddersfield 5-2 for the victory, 11-10 is your Norwich, 12-5 is the draw. I'm back in a draw here. Wagner going to get upset by Warnock once again. Let's go into the next one, Hull City, of course, up against Bristol City. All eyes on this bad boy on Friday, August the 25th. Played each other 24 times since 2004. We've got 7 wins for Hull, 9 for Bristol City, and we've got 8 draws, of course. Hull City, biggest win for them, 4-0 win, scoring 33 goals in those 24 games and 1.38 goals game ratio. Up against Bristol City, though, 5-0 win, their biggest, scoring 37 goals in those 24 games, 1.54 goals a game average. 67% form for Bristol City right now, just 1 defeat the past 6. Hull make it back-to-back wins and have been very, very busy in the old transfer market. Last round at the old KCOM, or the MKM Stadium, as a 2-1 win for Hull back in July 2022. The away side hasn't won this game since 2019, where Bristol City beat Hull in August. Of course, Bristol City did lose to Birmingham. Most recently, Hull picking up a cheeky win over Rovers. That's right. The odds right here, right now, we've got 13-10 is your Hull, 21-10 is your away side. That's Bristol City, and 23-10 is the draw here. I'm going with Hull City, spending a lot of money, bringing in a lot of firepower. They're putting down a case here to say that they're going to be in the mix here. They're putting a lot of money in, basically, to have a go, and it looks like they're doing just that. But probably one of the games of the weekend, besides the Watford Rovers game, is Ipswich. It is up against Leeds. It's at Portman Road. Now, these two sides have played each other 32 times since 1993. We've got 13 wins for Ipswich, 11 wins for Leeds, 8 draws, of course. Biggest win for Ipswich, 4-1 wins, scoring 38 goals in those 32 games, 1.19 goals game ratio. Up against Leeds, of course, their biggest win, 4-0 win, scoring 37 goals in those 32 games, 1.16 goals game ratio. Leeds, though, just 1 defeat past 6, of course, 67% form for them right now. Up against Ipswich, of course, 5 wins in the last 6 games, 92% form for them, and then unbeaten at home in the last 21 games. However, last time around, though, at Ipswich, it was a 3-2 win for Ipswich back in May 2019. 2019, that was in the Championship. The last time the away side won was when Ipswich beat Leeds at Ellen Road in September 2015. It's a long time ago since then. Leeds picking up a draw against West Brom most recently. Ipswich were the one they went over QPR, and they haven't conceded a goal in the last 3 games. Just 1 goal conceded all season. Could it be the change of the goalkeeper? 5-4, sorry, is your Ipswich. 23-10 is the draw. 11-5 is the away win. I've gone with a 0-0 on this one. Another clean sheet, another unbeaten run, and of course potentially still could be top of the table. Next up we have Preston North End up against Swansea. That's right, coming at you at Deepdale. Now these two sides have played each other 17 times in 2004. We've got 5 wins for Preston, 10 wins for Swansea, and we've got 2 draws, of course. Biggest win for Preston, 3-1 win, scoring 17 goals in those 17 games. You do the math. That's right. Swansea, though, 4-0 win, of course, was their biggest. 28 goals scored in those 17 games, 1.65 goals game ratio. Up against Swansea, though, just 1 defeated past 6, 67% form for them right now. Preston back-to-back wins, 50% form for them over the last 6. A couple of wins, a couple of draws, and a couple of defeats. Last round over at Deepdale was a 1-0 win for Preston back in November 2022. Preston looking pretty good right now. Could be top of the table. Of course, heading into this, Swansea looking to get some run together right now. 31-20 is your Preston, 23-10 is the draw, 7-4 is your away win. We're taking a 1-0 win for Preston, which could put them top of the table. You never know, guys. Next up we have, it's Rotherham, it's Leicester. It is, of course, on Saturday. That's right, coming at you. These two sides have played each other, going to minus 8 times in 2002. We've got 2 wins for Rotherham, 5 for Leicester, and we've got 1 draw, of course. Rotherham, 58% form for them right now. A couple of defeats in the last 6 games because of Leicester side winning 4 matches on the bounce. Of course, biggest win for Rotherham, 2-0 win, scored 8 goals in those 8 games. That's 1 goal game ratio. Up against Leicester, of course, their biggest win, 4-1 win, scoring 14 goals in those 8 games, 1.75 goals game ratio. Of course, last round over at Rotherham in the league was a 2-0 win for Leicester way back in September 2004. It's been a long, long time, guys. They did play each other at Rotherham back in 2011. It was in the EFL Cup. It was a big 4-1 win for Leicester. Leicester, though, 2-1 win over Cardiff. Most recently, Sunderland did beat Rotherham most recently. But the odds here, we have 90-4 is your host, 3-1 is the draw, 7-4 is your away win, guys. It is the Championship, but I'm going with a stone cold banker here, 3-0 win for Leicester. And I think we've just got one more to do, and I think it's West Brom. It is Middlesbrough, is at the Hawthorns. That's right. Big, another zingers, a couple of zingers going on. Played each other 28 times in 1993. We've got 8 wins for the Baggies, 13 wins for for Middlesbrough, and we've got 7 draws, of course. West Brom, biggest win for them, 5-0 wins, scoring 36 goals in those 28 games, 1.29 goals game ratio. Up against Borough, 4-0 win, their biggest, 43 goals scored in those 28 games, 1.54 goals game ratio. They come into this on 1 win in the last 6 games, 42% form for them right now. West Brom, a couple of games without a loss, 25% form for them, though, heading into this. Last round, over at the Hawthorns, it was a 2-0 win for West Brom, who just won once in the last 5. The Baggies, though, pick up a 1-1 draw against Leeds. Middlesbrough with a 1-1 draw against Huddersfield Town. The odds here for this one, 6-5 is your Baggies, 5-2 is your draw, 11-5 is your away win. Carrick could be in trouble here, guys. Going to go with a 2-1 win for West Brom to snatch it and put Carrick staring at the brink of possibly a sacking before the international break. But that, my friends, is what I think. Of course, don't forget to get involved with the Super Brew, cut the EFL Champ. There are links there and also in the description. But these are a recap of my predictions. And as you can see, if I'm a spot on the nose, this is what the table will look like. It'll be Leicester, then Southampton, then it'll be Birmingham, Ipswich, Preston, and then Hull City as we rock into the final game of this of the season before the international break. We have Leicester sitting pretty at the top of the table. That, my friends, is all I've got. Be sure to smash your subscribe, smash your thumbs up, hit the little bell, and of course, I'll catch you later when we come back for match number 5, the final game before the international break. But until then, we're done.